So, like I've been saying, rates have been dropping. If you haven't noticed it, then that's great. You either have a great broker or a great customer, but rates are dropping. The proof is in the pudding, if you want to put it lightly. I got an article I'm going to read a little bit of here. I'm going to edit into the video from DAT, pretty much saying that rates and volumes have dropped. That's probably why rates are starting to come down. From basically what DAT is saying is we are starting to make up capacity out there out west for, I guess, the imports. There's not such of a, I guess, rush to get stuff off the boat and get it into warehouses. It's also probably, in my opinion, what doesn't help. This is also the first quarter. So first quarter, budgets are all resetting. They gotta figure out what a lot of these customers and shippers and receivers are doing, and making budgets for the year. So that's probably another part. There is supposedly an uptick for flatbed, which of course it's going to start getting warmer here. It's getting into spring. There's a lot more apparently frantic drilling. At least that's what DAT says out in the I guess you want to say Dakotas and down there in Texas. So that's going to probably uptick flatbed like it did in 2018, if anybody remembers. But everybody was doing good then, but especially flatbed. So I think that's what I'm going to personally do. I think I'm going to switch back to flatbed. The only reason I really was doing reefer is because I screwed up my meniscus and it don't hurt now and it feels okay. So that's probably what I'm going to jump back into, flatbed. Maybe try step deck. I don't know. It depends. Like I said, personally, I kind of want to get my authority again. Right now, the big problem I'm having is finding a trailer that's reasonably priced. I'm not gonna buy a flatbed that was, originally 2 years ago, $5,000, and about worth $5,000 if you looked at the damn thing, for 15, 20 grand. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna buy a $20,000 trailer that needs sandblasted, painted, patched, brand new brake chambers, brand new brakes, brand new tires. No, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to do it. I'll wait for the thing to sit there and rot before, I'll go buy new or something. I don't know. So, I'm going to flop over here and I'm going to read this article here to you here in a second. This is the third time trying to do this now. All right, so like I was saying, here's DAT Freight analysis on the market. So I'm not going to read this. If you want, you can go log in your DAT account and read the whole article word for word. I'm just going to take snippets out of it. So basically here, DAT analyzes all the data and everything. And what's going on here is reefers in the reefer sector, you're hauling more miles now. It has increased 18%. We're now looking at the average length of a trip for reefer is about 610 miles. And then we also got dry van, which is lower, but it's 439 miles, which is also increased by 14%. And flatbed right now, your trips are about averaging 330 miles, so they're staying the same. So what they're saying here is, in long term, is capacity is starting to catch up here in the West Coast. And what happens usually with these rates and everything is it hits these container guys first and then trickles down, because they're pretty much they're the first people touching the freight. So if they have good rates, usually we have good rates. That's just how it works. And I don't mean the drivers per se. I mean, I hope most of the container drivers are doing pretty good right now, but whoever the company is that contracts these drivers out, they're getting good rates. We'll just say it that way. So over here in the dry van spot market, it looks like the rates have continuously started dropping since February. Dry van rates are down 30 cents a mile to an average of $2.64 a mile. And let's see, it's decreased 24%. Load volumes have decreased 24% since February. Now, I will admit that the first quarter usually is a crappy part of the year most of the time, but I don't know. It depends. It depends on how capacity is, either if capacity's caught up, if we're going to start seeing this continue. I hope not. I hope this is just the beginning part of the year. A lot of these carriers and brokers, it's basically budget season, tax season. Things aren't going out as much until budgets are figured out and, people start buying product again. So that being said, I'm going to keep pulling little snippets out here. So for Los Angeles to Chicago, intermodal load, it's down right now. The volume's down 30%. All right, so obviously they're starting to catch up, because there before, there was no dip in volume. It was 120% go grab these intermodal loads. So it's down the lowest it's been in 12 months. So the average line haul, this was for intermodal, which is pretty decent, is $2. Well, this is before fuel, I guess, really kicked in. But it was $2.08. It's dropped down to $1.20 a mile since December's peak. So right away, their rates are dropping. Here you go. Container imports are projected, at least so far, at least through freight waves, container imports are projected to increase 34%. So that might be, in summertime, people are going to start buying stuff. So that might be going to help these rates out, hopefully, here. But so far, dry van volumes have dropped 30% in the last month. The freight market's cool. Yep. Loads posted dropped 13% last week. So there's more trucks fighting for less loads. So brokers know they have the upper hand right now, because guys have bills still to pay, and they're gonna keep riding this out until the end, like usual. Let's see. Contract rates are now on average 10 cents a mile higher than spot market rate. Well, right there you go. That's an indication that this market's going to change. That always indicates this market's going to change when contract rates are starting to get lower than, higher than spot market rates. So, in my opinion, if you've read these analysis, like let's say 2018, you read these analysis, this is pretty much the same thing that happened in 2018. You started once contract rates start dipping back up over spot market rates, the mini gold rush is over here. I'm not trying to scare you guys. It's just the way how freight's always been. It's just we've been insulated. Usually about every 2.5 years, I would say, the market dips pretty good, and about every 5 years we have a catastrophic drop out of the market altogether, where carriers really start weeding themselves out. So I'll keep reading here a little snippets. It says dry van rates have been declining for 8 weeks in a row, following last week's 9-cent decrease in line haul rates. The dry van national average ended the week at $2.55. I'm guessing this is fuel surcharge is still 28 cents higher than the previous year. Well, guess what though? These brokers ain't giving you fuel surcharge. You might get some of these carrier brokers like Swift, JB Hunt and stuff. You might get fuel surcharge added in, because they've actually come out and added fuel surcharge in, at least on my rate confirmation sheets. I haven't even had to ask for it. When I ask a broker about rates, about fuel surcharge, you know what they tell me? It's already in the rate. I'd be like, how's it already in the rate when the rate's lower than it was than the last 15-day average or the last 30-day average? I said, how is it in the rate? And they have they say pretty much, they say either take it or let me get to another phone call. So that's what's happening here. Like I showed you there in DAT, the rates analysis and freight and whatnot, rates are dropping. Like I I blatantly see it on board. Sure, some of you guys got good brokers and they have good customers, and you're slightly insulated right now, but it's going to happen. I wouldn't even be that worried about it. I would not be that worried about it if I knew what fuel was going to do. If fuel was going to go down, or let's say we still had fuel, sitting at $2 a gallon in some places, I would not be worried at all. I'd be like, hey, the market's just corrected itself a little bit and we'll be good to go. But if you start seeing rates drop down for dry van under $2 a mile, you're going to see, you want to buy equipment, you're going to be able to buy tons of equipment. And these banks are probably going to be pulling their hair out, wondering what the hell were they thinking. So that's my analysis between me and DAT, I guess you could say, what's happening. I know I'm going to get guys on here say my rates are still great. I just did this week. I ran more. I put more miles on the truck, and I went places I kind of don't want to go. I went into Florida and stuff, but I ended up pulling out $9,000. Well, no, I ended up pulling out $8,000, and then what was it? Sunday I delivered in the morning, and then I went from basically outside Boston up to up Maine, up to Hawley's, Maine, to Poland Springs there, and picked up water to deliver to BJ's, which I thought was going to be great. I had, I don't know, like 7 or 8 hours left on my drive, on my clock for, to pick up the load and come back down here on the Long Island here and for BJ's. And it was Sunday, so, but like usual, Poland Springs, it took me 5 hours to get a door and 5 hours to get loaded. So I ended up basically taking a 10-hour break there and then leaving at pretty much like 12 o'clock, midnight, to come down here to Long Island. And then I get here to BJ's and I sit here for 4 hours because there's 2 trucks in front of me, and the day cabs have priority. I guess it's their main company that services them. So that's what happens there. So now I'm basically stuck here in Long Island. I'm already in it now 6 hours on sleeper berth, so I might as well just take my 10-hour break here. Luckily where I'm at, no one's gonna bother me. So, but that added an extra $1,500 to the overall rate. So I'm gonna finish the week out at $9,500. Minus my carrier's cut, which is 20%, minus everything else. I got about $1,000 in fixed costs between the $400 trailer rental and everything else. And I spent about $2,000 in fuel. Mud flap thankfully saved me money, but I also filled the tanks up for the rest of the week because I live out in Pennsylvania. So if I'm going to be in the Northeast, might as well have some extra fuel in the tanks to get out of the expensive fuel and down to cheaper prices down either out west or in the south. So I'll probably end up with a net around between $4,200 and $4,500. That's basically what I'm calculating my net out to be. So that, unfortunately, if fuel prices were lower, I probably would have an extra $800. I probably would be making about like $5,300 to $5,500. But fuel doesn't come out of the carrier, it doesn't come out of anybody else. It comes out of my pocket. So, let's see, what else can I talk about here? I'm just trying to get a point across to some guys. Like, I started 6 months ago. I figured this was going to ride out till at least in the end of this year. I figured that's how great everything was going to be. I wasn't anticipating on the war with Russia. I wasn't I wasn't anticipating the whole. I'm not trying to get political, but the whole kind of debacle. If anybody actually thinks everything's fine and dandy, you've been watching the wrong. You've been watching the wrong channel, like news channels, and even then, that news channel contradicts themselves every day. So I don't know what to tell you. So basically, what I want to say is, if you're starting out here, I would like to say try to go as cheap as you can possibly can, but you know what that's going to mean? That's going to mean you're going to need at least like 20 or 30 grand in savings if you're going to start out here. Um, you're going to still be able to make good money. You're going to probably still be able to make more than company driver job, but you're going to have to buy your trailer cash. You're going to have to buy either that, or you're going to have to find uh, a carrier that can keep you running and isn't going to rape you in fixed costs. You're gonna have to definitely buy your truck cash. I mean, if you want, you could go ahead and finance it if you can, but at least for now, it looks like the truck, wholesale market and retail market and stuff, the prices are still super inflated. Um, they're gonna wind that cash cow out as long as they can, because the dealerships don't get really stuck. I mean, maybe some of the buy here, pay here, the lease purchase places do, but the dealerships don't get stuck if you default on a loan. The only people who are going to be pulling their hairs out at the end of this are going to be the guys that started out and overextended their debt, and the banks. This is going to, in my opinion, for the truck selling market, this is going to be like the real estate crash. Is going to be the freaking truck retail market crash, I guess you could say. So that's going to also, if that does happen, that's going to also have some opportunities. It's going to probably afford me some opportunities. I'm sticking away some money, but like I said, with the way things are going, anything could eat that up real quick. Something could happen to the truck. It's like a constant. So far with this old girl, constant $1,000 here, $1,000 here, $2,000 here. Struggle. The air. Let's see what just happened now. The AC compressor just seized, which I might make a video about that. About finding a good mechanic. I mean, I could have, if I would have looked at it myself and just investigated it, I would have figured it out in a heartbeat. But we're not going to get into that right now. I'll probably make a video about that. But like I said, starting out, don't overextend yourself with debt. Not right now. If this was like a year ago, I'd say go all in and pay as much as you can off. Don't go buying bass boats. Don't go buying side-by-sides, trailers, new Silverado. Just concentrate on the business. And once you get that, once you have no debt in business, like once this truck's paid off, and I get myself a trailer, and I probably go get my own authority. I have very little bills at home. I have very little bills even right now. I could be profitable, at a lower rate. I'm not going to say the $1.25, $1.50 everybody keeps splatting out, because guess what? I took risks. I took calculated risks. I took I took a little bit of savings, a little bit of hard work to get here, and I don't want to make what, 25 cents, 30 cents more than a company driver, and luckily I can pay my own insurance. It's cheap, and my kids are covered under my wife and stuff, and I basically have most of the luxuries of a company driver. I have my own IRA that I put money into and stuff. That we're not going to talk about that either, but yeah. So keep an eye on the spot market. In my opinion, unless you got money in the bank, this is probably a great time to do it, because you'll learn on how to actually save money, how to actually run a profitable trucking business. I'm scared to say what fuel might do. I've been hearing odds and ends about a world shortage of diesel now, which in my wholesome opinion, everybody's like, oh, I don't think Russia's going to really bother us too much. What I think is going to happen is OPEC, good old buddies over at OPEC, are going to stick it to us. The whole world right now sees that the United States is weak. And if you don't think we're weak right now, I'm not talking about Trump or anything. I just mean in general. Since probably in 250 years or 200 years, we're probably the weakest we've been in a long time. economically, politically, community, especially community-wise. I don't know why everybody just can't take the fact that we're all Americans and that we should take pride in that. But, and I know there's going to be guys that are political and they're going to see that don't tread on me and everything, and they're going to comment on this and make fun of crap. But, you know, that all plays in, that plays into your pockets. I mean, if you want to just not look at anything political and keep your eyes closed and stuff, it's going to eventually catch up and bite you. You know, it just is. And that's really how this whole debacle started. There's just too many politics, and there's too much politics getting involved in free market. And then where they should be involved, they're turning the blind eye because they're getting, you know, they're getting their pockets padded. You know, there's a good balance, and the balance is out of whack right now. So I'm gonna stop rambling here, because this is probably now going to be about a 30-minute video. So comment, subscribe. I'm just going to throw this up here. I'm not even going to really edit it that much and put all kinds of crap on it. I might throw something up there, you know, just to catch somebody's attention that the rates are falling. But other than that, you know, tell me, try to comment. See, tell me what comment, you know, what kind of content you want. I'm gonna probably try to buy a cheap GoPro or a GoPro knockoff. Take some videos driving down the road or something. It's not really that exciting. Reefer's not exciting. Flatbed's exciting. Every day is a new challenge, something to do. You know, especially if you had step deck or double drop RG end or something. This, you know, what am I going to show you? Did I sit here for 12 hours waiting to get unloaded? You know, staring out the window, cooking a steak, talking to my family through FaceTime. That's about it. So, comment, subscribe, take care. Try not to end up, yeah, I should talk about that too. Try not to end up killing people. Lately, it seems like every day, news, catastrophic accidents and everything with trucks. And I would like to say it's all four-wheelers' fault, but it's starting, you know, the facts are coming out, and it's starting to turn like 50-50 here. And the problem is when a four-wheeler screws up, you know, they bounce off each other, they screw some shit up, unless they hit head-on really fast. Usually there's, you know, you don't end up wiping out a whole family. When a truck driver screws up, they wipe out whole families. And it gets televised because it's a disaster. So, take care, stay safe, have a good one.